Welcome to this yoga for beginners with Kee McGraw and Bob Smith. Come to the head of your mat and take your hands together at the level of the heart. Inhale, lengthen and lift your arms up overhead, wrapping the elbows in. Let the shoulders slide down the back as we begin the sun salutation. The last breath. And then as you release, hinge at the hips to fold forward. Long and neutral through the spine as we open through the back of the legs. Inhaling as you lengthen through the spine, and exhale, take it a little farther. And now inhaling, step your left leg back and place your left knee on the ground. Draw the pelvis upward into perpendicular to the ground, protecting the low back. Lift your right foot just a little to make sure you're back on your left knee. And from there, reaching the arms overhead, elbows wrap in, let the shoulders slide down the back. Later we'll be practicing the same position with the back knee off the ground. You're just feeling your alignment. And then as you release, take the hands down and step your right leg back by the left foot. Bending the knees as much as you need to lift up your tailbone, maintaining a neutral spine in your downward facing dog. Breathing as you're reaching through. And then from here, inhale as you lift up your head and come forward into plank position, lowering down halfway with the elbows wrapping in by the sides of the rib cage in Chaturanga Dandasana. And then release, come down onto your belly. With the hands behind the back, lift up the tailbone and then lift up through the head and the chest, allowing the shoulders to descend in your armless cobra. Then with the hands back down by the shoulders, tuck your toes, bending the knees, lift up through the tailbone. Elbows wrap in so shoulders are nice and broad apart in this downward dog, stretching through our forearms and the shoulders. And step your left leg forward. Take your right knee onto the ground, drawing the pelvis upward into perpendicular to the ground. And just test by lifting up your left foot a tiny bit so you know you're on balance. And when you find you are, reach those arms overhead, elbows wrap in, shoulders are sliding down the back. And as you release, step your way into your forward bend, hinging at the hips, neutral through the spine, so lift up the head, lift the chest, and lift the tailbone. Stretching through the hamstrings. And then as you release, draw your way back and up into upward facing posture. Lifting through the pubic bone, grounding sacrum, and lift the chest, allowing the shoulders to slide down the back. Eye gazes upward. And then release and return into your namaste position. Now a second time. Inhaling as you lengthen and lift the arms up overhead. Elbows wrap in, shoulders sliding down the back, lifting the heart upward and the head and eye gaze. In Urdhva Mukhasana, the upward facing posture. Then as you release, hinge at the hips and fold forward, long and neutral through the spine, lifting the head, the chest, and the tailbone, working at your own level, stretching through hamstrings. Inhalation, stepping your right leg back, and with the right knee bent but off the ground, still draw the pelvis up to perpendicular to the ground, arms are reaching overhead. Elbows wrap in, shoulders are sliding, eye gazes upward, and then releasing from the posture. Take your hands back down and step your way back into down dog. With the elbows wrapping in, the shoulders can broaden and open. With the knees bent, drive that tailbone upward, lengthening through the back and the back of the hamstrings. Now inhale, come forward into plank position. Elbows wrap in by the sides of the rib cage, lowering down halfway into Chaturanga. And from there, press through and upward into Cobra. Head and eye gaze is upward, shoulders slide back and down, opening the heart and across the front of the chest and abdomen. And then releasing, tuck your toes, press your way up and back yet again into down dog. Exhaling as you're pressing back, lifting the tail. Feeling the shoulders broadening and opening as we deepen into the work. And a last breath. And then releasing, step your right leg forward. Let the left knee bend, but staying off the ground. Draw the pelvis upward into perpendicular. The arms reach overhead. Elbows are wrapping in, shoulders sliding, developing upward with the eye gaze. And releasing. Step your way forward into forward bend, hinging at the hips, neutral through the spine, lifting the head, the tail, and the heart, so that we're still able to maintain that neutral spine. And then inhale, come on back and up to upward facing position, lifting the pubic bone, grounding the sacrum, lifting the chest, elbows wrap in, and shoulders slide. And then release and return into your namaste position. Now we're going to pick up the pace. As we do so, just inhale and gather energy. Exhale, draw that energy back into where it is you need it. 2 more times like this. Inhale to expand and open, and exhale, recenter. And once again, you might draw this energy into exactly to the area that's in need of it. And then from here, step your legs a leg distance apart, and hinging at the hips, fold forward in your forward restful posture, lifting up the head and the chest and the tailbone so you still maintain the neutral spine, working with gravity to strengthen and lengthen the back, opening through inner thighs. And then from here, as you come back up halfway, bend your knees, use your elbows on the inner knees, pressing those knees open. As you're able, you might consider the more challenging variation of the arms reaching forward. In doing so, we're supporting the body weight, still with the strong legs. When you conclude, come back up with your knees straight, and lifting up through the sit bones, resuming your forward restful position, releasing some of the challenge of that last work. And as we come back up a second time through with the knees bent, opening to the sides directly over the ankles, this time we'll draw the trunk upward and inhaling when you open the arms to the side of the body. And exhale, gather energy back into center. Inhale as you expand the arms outward. Exhalation, gathering energy, descending it in the body, strengthening the low body, as we continue with this challenging position of horse. Seeing to it that the spine is still neutral to the pelvis as you inhale and lengthen and lift, and then exhale, gradually deepening the work. And again like this, inhale as you open, and exhale to center. Inhaling, with the knees still bending, opening to the sides, exhale, deepening, and then releasing the work, taking the hands down onto the legs or the ground, so that you can straighten through the knees, and opening in this way, through the inner thighs and hamstrings, also releasing the back, even as you maintain it neutrally. Now from here, as you draw your way back and up, open your right knee to the right, still keep your pelvis forward, arms are out to the sides of the shoulders, and then turn and look to the right in this warrior position of Virabhadrasana 1. Emphasis still in keeping the left hip opening back, left arm reaching back behind you. And then as you release, come back through the horse position, opening left knee to the left, and then keep that, breathing as you gradually deepen. And then from here, with the left knee opening, straighten through your right knee, developing into warrior number 1 on your second side. Head and eyes are turning and looking to the left, still emphasize the reaching back through right hip. And then as you release, come back to forward restful position yet again, hinging at the hips as you fold forward and neutral through the spine. With the head generally below the heart, with your flexibility, you're able to get a little partial benefit from this inversion with the head below the heart, additional blood flow coming into the head. And then from here, start to draw your way back and up, and taking those legs together, inhale and expand the arms to the side body. Exhale, collect your energy, and bring it again to just where it is you need it the most. Inhaling as you circle your arms, and exhale to recenter. And again like that. And now beginning to shift into work with one-legged balances. As you come into the work, standing through your left leg, draw your right knee upward, take your right hand along to the right leg or foot. Also, you're welcome to use a strap, as demonstrated by Bob, standing behind me in the white pants. Lengthening through the spine as we draw the right foot up, lengthening and opening through right hamstring groove, and this challenging one-legged balance. And then shifting to your second side of Uddiyana Hasta Padangusthasana, or the one-legged hand to foot pose. As you shift your weight into the right leg, lift up through the left knee, gradually left hand develops along the left leg, foot, or you might be using the strap. Drawing the leg up towards your chest, not your chest toward the leg, still maintaining the neutral spine. And as you're able, start to release and come on back out, feeling the effects. Now developing yet again through the left leg standing, take your right foot up to the inner left knee, left hand will cross to the right knee, and start to turn to your right side. A further development of this could be that you would then extend through the right knee with left hand along that right foot, or again, perhaps using the strap. And as you find your balance, gradually allow the head and eye gaze to turn to look towards your outstretched right hand. And breathing as you're reaching through, releasing. Coming back to center and start to shift to your second side. Standing through the right leg, left foot comes to the inner right knee, right hand crosses to left knee, head and eyes can turn and look towards the outstretched left hand, and then gradually, perhaps developing into the extended knee position with the right hand anywhere along that left leg or else along the strap. Head and eye gaze can turn and look to the left in this challenging version of Urdhva Bharadvajasana. As you release from the posture, come on back through center yet again, and let it be easy. Inhale to gather energy back to center, and exhaling, taking it to where it is you are needing it the most. Inhale as you expand, and exhale. And once again like this. And from here, allow yourself to come back onto your back. Once you're on your back, draw your legs up to the ceiling. Allow yourself a moment's rest and experiencing both the hamstring stretching as well as the amount of energy required to keep the feet upward. This particular angle is beneficial to the crown chakra. And now lowering by about 15 degrees, take the feet just a little bit lower so that now the energy is descending into your third eye chakra. And then lowering again, just a bit more. And breathing as you're reaching through, holding steady and strong as we benefit the throat chakra. Still maintaining a neutral spine as we challenge our core, lowering by another 15 degrees, taking the focus into our heart chakra, strengthening our ability to maintain unconditional love in the heart, and lowering by another 15 degrees, now benefiting the solar plexus chakra, strengthening our internal connection to our higher power, lowering by another 15 degrees, benefiting the second chakra, powerful generative area, which creatively offer things back to the planet, and now almost all the way to the ground, strengthening the core. Taking a break and a breath as you're able to hug the knees back into the chest. With the head lifted, there's a little bit more of a stretch through the low back. That feels good for you. You can release and come up and over onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, take your hands behind your back. Lifting up through your right leg. And the head and eye gaze tailbone's lifting, adding to that, reaching your left arm forward. Breathing as we're reaching through, strengthening these diagonal energies in the body, connecting right and left through the core, and taking a break. Resuming as you're able to lift up the left leg, as well as the tailbone, the head and eye gaze. As you feel comfortable to develop more completely, you might reach that right arm forward. Breathing as you're reaching through, feeling the connection between the right arm and left leg, right through the core of the body. And then releasing, come back down and take a break. Now as you're able, we'll consider working with lifting up both legs, lifting the tailbone, lift your two legs up, lift the head and the chest. Breathing as you're reaching through, gradually developing by lifting the arms and reaching both arms overhead. If this is too much, you could stay at the previous level of challenge with simply one leg and opposite arm working. And then perhaps shifting it to your second side. When you've concluded, allow yourself to release. Coming up onto your knees, reach your hips back behind you in this prayer position. The head can descend. And once you've had a moment to enjoy the stretch, we're ready to shift again. In doing so, come up into a kneeling position. Lifting up through the pubic bone, ground the sacrum. Use the hands behind the back of the thighs as you develop through lifting the chest, the heart, and the eye gaze, allowing the shoulders to descend. In this camel position, see to it that you're able to swallow and breathe, that your neck is engaged, so that as you gradually develop and deepen, there's still a continuous extension through the spine. And as you release, come on back up to neutral, and shift your hips back onto the heels. Taking a gentle turn to your left hand's behind you, right hand crosses to your left knee. With a neutral spine, vertical and erect, simply turn and look to the left. And then release and come back to center. And taking that same rotation now to the right side, right hand back behind you onto the ground. Left hand crosses to right knee, lengthening and lifting through the spine as you turn and look to the right. And then releasing, come back to center. And back up onto your knees. This time use your left hand behind your back, reach your right arm overhead, develop through the extension of the spine as we did before in camel, with a variation now of turning and looking to the left. Opening up through the left side of the chest, breathing as you're reaching through. And release and come on back through center. Start to vary it to the second side. Right hand is on your low back, supporting your ability to keep the pelvis pressing forward. Lifting the chest from that foundation, turn and look to the right. Opening through the right side of the chest with left arm overhead. And then as you release, come on back through center. And shift your hips back onto your heels with the head down towards the ground. Into this prayer position yet again. A passive release in the low back, provided that it's feeling good for you. You can always lift your hips up higher if you wish to decompress the spine. And then from here, as you're able, we'll release and come up and into a seated position with your left leg under and the two sit bones grounded. Cross your right leg over, lengthening through the spine. Use your left hand to cross over to the right knee. Lifting upward as you begin to turn and look to the right. Right hand will come back behind you in this classic seated twist. As you're able, you might consider crossing your left elbow over that right thigh. As long as that doesn't have you round through the chest. Further development to bind that left hand back underneath the right leg with the right hand joining you. Taking it at your own level and then releasing. Come on back through, and now with the right leg under and the left leg over to sit bones well grounded so the spinal length is maintained. Right hand onto that left knee as you lift and twist to your left. Left hand's behind you. Perhaps crossing right elbow over that left thigh. Or even beginning to construct the bind as long as the spinal length is maintained and the head nigh gaze is able to still look to the left. Then as you release from the posture, untwist and let yourself come back and onto your back. Once you're on your back, draw your knees into the chest in this wind-relieving posture. Going to digest the materials that have become freed up from your efforts here today. Gentle stretching through the low back as well. And then from here, with the left foot planted on the ground, draw the right leg up. With the hands along the leg or ankle or foot, or perhaps even using a strap, you'll be stretching through the right hamstring group. And then all's well, you might develop it through with the left leg also extended along the ground. Breathing as you're reaching through, opening through the back of that right leg. And now as you're able, with the right hand to the inner right leg, open your right leg to the right. Inner thigh stretching on the inner right leg. See to it that your left hip is still grounded. Perhaps left hand can help you ground there. And now crossing right leg over to the left, you might use a strap on your right foot, or the left hand could be anywhere along the right leg, calf, ankle, or foot. Stacking the right hip up on top of left, deepening the rotation. And as you release, come on back through center, and changing it up so that now the right foot is planted on the ground and the sequence begins again with the left leg up. Initial hamstring stretching, hands along that left leg, drawing left foot in towards the chest with the pelvis still firmly planted on the ground. Gradually developing with the right leg extending, still with the pelvis on the ground, a little more challenging variation. You're always welcome to use a strap should you need to. And then from here as you're able, with the left hand along left foot, open left leg to the left. If right hip's lifting up, you might use right hand on the right hip to help to press it back and down. And then as you release from the position, come on back up. And let's change so that the right hand or the strap in the right hand crosses to that left foot. Draw the left leg up and over to the right, stacking the left hip directly on top of the right hip. Head nigh gaze can turn and look to the left in this reclined, rotated twist. And when you conclude, come on back through center. And draw again both knees into the chest in your wind-relieving posture. Stretching through the low back just a bit, so long as that feels comfortable. And then from here, threading the needle posture, drawing right ankle over left knee, press right hand on right knee to open the right knee to the right, developing through the sensation in the outer right buttock. Continue pressing right knee to the right as you're able. The left hand still draws left knee into the chest. And then we'll cross to your second side. Left foot crosses right knee, drawing right knee inward. Left hand's on left knee, pressing left knee outward and away. Doing so, the combined effort is such that we're stretching through the outer left buttock and breathing as you're reaching through. And as you release from the posture, come back down to the ground with your 2 feet together and your 2 knees opening to the side in your reclined bound angle. Supta Baddha Konasana. Breathing as you're feeling this gentle and passive stretch through the inner thighs, and you might take the arms overhead as well to also feel that passive release through the chest and the armpits. Staying there as long as you need to. And otherwise, as you're able, you might develop into the corpse position in right time to rest back for final integration. Let yourself release into the ground, letting go of tension, and letting go of the efforts. And in doing so, feel the reward for the efforts now as your energy rebounds, is refreshed, and returns to you. Letting go of habits that no longer serve, staying there as long as you wish to. And otherwise, if you are ready to conclude with me now, come on up into a seated position. Pause and notice the changes that have taken place. Gathering the energy back into you with the arms expanding. Ground that energy right to where you need it. Inhaling, expand the arms. Exhale, collect those efforts right back to you with the changes. And once again, gradually changing our energy ever more back into its own beautiful source. And namaste.